am so excited that you are taking the opportunity to read a book that God recently gave me. It's called I Am Remnant. In fact, you have to understand, I honestly believe this is a mandate and a vision for a generation. I'll never forget when about a year ago, God began to speak to me. I was out one morning praying and God said, Pat, I'm going to raise up a remnant. I began to pray about it. Then He burned in my heart to write this book that you're about to read. You're going to find out. You're going to ask yourself some serious questions as you're reading this book. Are you remnant? You have to understand, inside of this book, there's 34 manifestos, a declaration over a generation that God began to speak to me. As you're reading this book, you're going to get stirred on the inside. Can I change the world for God? Can I step up in a dark time? Will I stand for truth? In the manifestos that are all throughout the book, it says things like, the remnant has decided that at all costs they will not quit on the one who would not quit on them. In other words, no matter what you've done, no matter how many mistakes you've made, you're not an oops, you're not an accident. In fact, you're going to find out what the word remnant means. It actually means a rag in the hand of God. And here's what I want to challenge you. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 14, I'll go deep into this in the very introduction of the book, that God says, many are called, but not everyone gets chosen. I believe He's chosen you. As you begin to read this book, begin to study the manifestos, and even begin to realize that this book was written as a letter to a generation, you're going to get stirred on the inside. My good friend, Jim Raley, and Prophet Sean Smith wrote the forwards for the book. In the back of the book, there's 24 endorsements. But I believe that God gave me this vision as a message to a generation that you are someone special. He has defined you. Your identity is that of a remnant. And as we survey the landscape, you're going to have to ask yourself a question. Will I make a stand? That's what Remnant's all about. You're chosen. Get ready. It's a pretty intense book. Enjoy the introduction chapter because God's about to take you on a journey.